Good evening and thank you all for joining us today. I am Parth Varu, event planner at Microsoft Reactor Bangalore. This session will run over next 60 minutes including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to Reactor YouTube channel. I'll share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome our speaker for today's session, Kirti. Kirti is an Office Development MVP and Microsoft certified trainer, has 16 plus years of progressive experience in architect, designing, development, deployment, and administrating of SharePoint applications and implementing of business applications in client or server distributed environments. He strongly believes that knowledge is power and sharing knowledge is empowering. As of now, over to Kirti to begin the session.
Yeah, thanks, Parth. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Parth, for a wonderful introduction, and good evening, everyone, for joining this session. And I am happy that you are just investing some of the time during the weekdays, and he is a part of the community member. So today I'm going to talk about how you can use the Azure DevOps for the Power Apps deployment. And before I jump into that, I just would like to briefly give you some introduction from my end. So myself, Kirti Prajapati, and I am working as a modern workplace consultant, an independent consultant, and SharePoint architect as well, and Microsoft MVP and MCT. And along with this, my interest of area mostly focus on Microsoft 365, SharePoint, and Office development components. And along with this, I'm also involved in some of the local as well as the international events as a speaker. And I'm also like passionate to share my knowledge in all the possible ways like blog, then writing some books, then providing some training. So yeah, I am sharing my knowledge on my blog as well. And I am an organizer of M365 Ahmedabad user group where we are conducting this different set of events. It could be kind of Power Platform Bootcamp, SharePoint Saturdays, and some of the workflows where the developer community can be benefited to understand what has been released by Microsoft as a cutting edge or the newly released features from Microsoft 365, Microsoft Teams, or SharePoint. And if you want to get in touch with me, then on the right hand side of the slide, you can see my personal social handler in details. So you can be in touch with me on any platform, and I will be more than happy to connect with you on that. And we can definitely help the community to grow in a better way. Right. So this is all about me. And for today's session, before I jump into that, I would like to highlight few things why I come to this the session that I want to like explain with the community members, right? So nowadays, the Power Platform development is very high in all the organizations, and most of the developer are like struggling when they are trying to move their solution from one environment to another environment because they might or might not know about the automation process available when we have some kind of Azure DevOps knowledge. So this session will help them that how you can leverage that functionality from moving your solution from one place to another place or one environment to another environment using the Azure DevOps. So most of the time what happens like as a developer, we are starting development on our local system in the default environment or the whatever the environment provided by the company. And then after development, we have to move that solution into another environment. So initially, we are just using the import export functionality and moving that solution as a package from one environment to another environment. But sometimes it is very like difficult to manage like all the connections, then having everything as is when you are moving from one environment to another environment. So not to miss anything and make it a kind of automated process. So any human intervention is not required in that. You can just create your builds and releases, and then it will do the Azure DevOps will do the rest of the job. So that's the basic idea that that will definitely help the developer community when they are thinking about moving your solution from one environment to another environment. So before we jump into that, as a developer or as a person who are going to use these, so there are some of the prerequisites you need to keep in mind that we should use this Azure DevOps Git repository. You can use anything, but for today's demo, I'm going to use this one. And then for the Power Apps environment, your environment must have the CDS or the Dataverse enabled. Like it should have the database, right? When you are creating the environment, it will ask you like you want to create a database environment or without database. So make sure that whatever the environment you are using, it's a trial version or the default one or it's a production one, but it must have CDS or the database enabled. And then you should have Azure Active Directory access where we will create the enterprise application, and that will help us to like create a bridge between Power Apps, your Power Apps solution, and the Azure DevOps. So those access required. And then administrator access on Power Platform admin, where we are going to manage the users. Like we have to create couple of users for each environment, that is called application user. Using that, we will be able to use those enterprise applications, which can be helpful to create a bridge between Azure DevOps and Power Apps. And last, access on Dynamics 365 from where we can grant permission to application users. So as I mentioned that we have to create one application user for each environment, and we have to allow that user a contributor access on Azure DevOps. So from Azure DevOps, that user can connect with your Dynamics 365 environment URL, and from there it can pick the solution. Either it's a kind of default environment or trial environment. So these are the prerequisites that you can keep in mind when you are thinking about implementing this Azure DevOps for Power Apps deployment. And then in demo, this is just a highlight that this will give you a kind of a picture that what are the different steps we are going to follow, right? So there are three main components we have to use. First one is the Azure Portal, where we will create the Azure Active Directory Enterprise application. Then we'll register that app and create this certificates and secrets. So that's it. We are done with the Azure Portal. And then we come to the Power Platform Admin Center. So this will happen for all the environments you are going to access for this migration or deployment. So in this demo, I will use two environment. Environment one will be my default environment. That is my source, where we will create this application user and create one solution along with the Power Apps. And then in environment two, that is my trial one environment, where we will create only application user, and we will move the solution from environment one to environment two using Azure DevOps. And then third component is Azure DevOps. So in Azure DevOps, we have to create the service connections. So service connection will help us to understand, okay, now this Azure DevOps task is going to connect with which environment? It's the environment one or environment two, like your source environment or the destination environment. So for that, we have to create the service connections. And then once the service connection is established, then we will add our solution, this Power App solution from your local development environment to source control. That is our Azure DevOps. And then we will create a pipeline and then create a release. So Create a pipeline will help you to execute all the steps, and your solution will be in your repository. And then we will create a release, so that will pull your solution package from your repository to sorry, from your source control to the destination environment, that is our environment 2 or trial 1 environment. So these are the prerequisites steps, you can say. So why I'm explaining this, because when we move to the demo, we just have to follow all the steps. So this is kind of checklist. We just need to keep in mind that we should not forget any point from this list of tasks. So now I'm just directly jumping into the demo. And first thing, we should go with the Azure portal. So I'm just opening that, this one. So assume that you have the Azure subscription available. If you do not have that, you can just use the $200 free trial available. So once you log in into that, on the navigation bar, you can see we have the option called enterprise applications, right? So you can just click on that. And as I mentioned, that first step will be our create Azure Active Directory enterprise application. So I'm just moving into that step. And once you are available on this screen, then from this menu, you can just click on new application and create your own application. So we are just creating this from here and give it any name. So for example, I'm just giving Microsoft Reactor 2. So I'm just giving this name, and rest of the settings you can just keep as is and click on create. So now once this resource is setting up for you, on the next screen, we will have this application ID and object ID of this enterprise application. So we need to copy those items. So just open any of the notepad. So I'm just opening that notepad now. And you can see here the properties of this MSR2. We can just copy those items into the notepad. So this will be required for upcoming steps. So I'm just copying these properties and keeping it safe places. Right. So we have just created the enterprise application, and now the second step is app registration. So let's jump on home page again, and in the navigation you can see the app registration, right? So if you don't see this option here, you can just click on more services, and from here you can also find that app registration. So the first one, right? So there are two options. So maybe I have used recently, so that is why I can see that on the first navigation. But if it is not available there, then you can just come into the all services and search with app registration, and you will be able to see that. So click on that. And then from the all applications, just try to search with the applications we just created. So we have just created MSR2, right? So just click on that. And once this property page is available, then from the left navigation, you can see the API permissions. So we just click on the API permission. Now, as I mentioned that this enterprise application app registration we are doing, why? We need to establish a bridge between Power Apps and then Azure DevOps, right? So we have to provide this permission to this Azure DevOps first. Then you have that user hyphen impersonate. So just click on this checkbox, click on add permissions. Then again, this is for the Azure DevOps. Now again, go to this add permission page again and select this Power Apps runtime services. And again, select user impersonation. So this is for the common data service. This is for our Power Apps environments, and then click on add. And make sure that you just click on the grant admin consent for SPC solution for your tenant. So we are like safe. We might not have any issues going forward, right? So we have performed all the steps related to the Azure Active Directory. So create Azure app registration, and the final one will be certificates and secrets. So for this app registration, we have to create this certificates and secrets. So from the same screen, in the left navigation, you can see the certificates and secrets. So just click on that and click on new client secret. And then you can just give it whatever the description you are okay with. So I'm just using this Microsoft R2 as a description and click on add. Now here we have to copy this secret ID and value because it is required in the upcoming steps. So I'm just copying this secret ID and secret value, right? So, and along with this, we also need the tenant ID. So I'm just going into this Azure Active Directory just to get my tenant ID. And from this property window, you can see the tenant ID here. So I'm just copying that. And this will be tenant ID. So we are good. Like we have just set up everything what is required for from the Azure portal, right? Now we are in the second step, Power Platform Admin Center. So as I mentioned that this demo is basically for two environments. One is my source environment and the second is my destination environment. So for that, let's jump into that admin center first. So for that, you have to log in into your Office 365 tenant. And once you are logged in into that, then from this menu, hamburger menu, you can just click on the admin and you will move into this admin center for all admin center. And from there, you can just click on the Power Apps, right? So once you open this Power Apps admin center, it will open look like this, right? So this is my Power Platform admin center. You can see on top left corner. So I am in that, and here it display all the environments available for your tenant. So in this tenant, I have three different environments. So if you don't see any apart from your default environment, then you can just click on new and just create new one, right? I was mentioning that whenever you are thinking about the Azure DevOps thing, then your environment must have the CDS or the database enabled. So here you can see the checkbox, create a database for this environment. So make sure you just enable this. Otherwise, you will not be able to use that environment for this deployment process, right? So, and then under this type, you can select any one of the relevant type for that specific environment. So I'm not going to create new one because I have already that created source and destination one. So I'm just closing this, but keep in mind that whenever you are creating, just enable this database thing. Right now, the first thing what we are going to do. So first we open this default environment that is SPC solutions. And then once you click on that, it will open like this. Click on that. And it will open with all the properties, right? So from here, you can see the environment URL. So just copy this environment URL and paste somewhere it is required in the service connection. So I'm just using this. And make sure that you use the HTTPS while copying into the server URL, right? And then as I was mentioning that when we are using this, we have to create application users for as all the environments we are going to use for any deployment. So for this one, in the right side, you can see the access box where under the users, click on see all. And from here, we are going to create the application user. So you can see that app user list link is there. So just click on that. And from here, you can just create application user, which can help you to establish a bridge between your enterprise application, right? So from here, you can just click on new app user, add an app, and just try to search the enterprise application you have created earlier. So MSR2, and we can find that here in the list. So just click on that, add, and select your business unit. So the default one will be this one for me. And now we have to give the security role to this user MSR2. So just click on this pencil icon for security role and just give it system administrator access. So that user will be able to connect with our enterprise application, and click on save and create. So once it is created, then we'll have this notification here with the success message that, okay, the user has created. You can see this user has been created and added to this environment, right? So we have just created that user and we are good to use this in Azure DevOps now. So we have set up this, we just copy this environment URL, created application user. Now we are going to create a solution in the same environment because this will be my source environment. So I'm just creating the solution. So I minimize this and open your Power Apps. So you can open these Power Apps from here. Like you can just click on these Power Apps, and once you open that, you will be able to find the correct environment from top right corner. So you can see I have two environment and I'm going to create my app in this SPC Solutions default environment. So make sure you are selecting the correct environment. And from here, I'm just going to create one solution. So select solutions from left side and click on new solution. Then give it a name as MSR2. Select your publisher. So I'm going to use default, my business unit default publisher, and rest of the thing as is. No need to change anything because we are going to create first time. So version will be 1.000 and click on create. And once the solution is created, we will be able to add as many as component in that, right? So click on MSR2 and under this, you can see the new option, click on that, and this much of options for the components you can add in this solution, right? But for this demo, I'm just going to use this app, Canvas app. So I'm just selecting Canvas app from here and give it a name MSR2 and use the format tablet. I'm not doing any fancy thing in the Power Apps. I'm just creating a simple Power App with one label where we can just add one label and write a message like welcome to this user group, kind of. And once you are familiar with these, then you will be able to enhance this as per your requirement. So welcome to Microsoft. And just right, and just click on save. So I'm just saving my solution. Now, and when you are creating this app, I forgot to mention one thing that if you are creating this app without solution, then this deployment will not be possible, right? So it is must that you should have the solution when you are thinking about this Azure deployment process for Power Apps. So make sure you are doing the right process, like create solution, and under that you can create as many as component you want, right? So now we are good with Power Apps creation. So let's open this and we are done with this tab. Now we move to the Azure DevOps. I'll come to this environment 2 later on once I'm setting up this service connection. So let's move into the Azure DevOps now. So for Azure DevOps, once you log in into this Azure DevOps, this dev.azure.com, you will be able to see your this landing page or a dashboard. Now here you have two options. You can go with the existing project. You can see the list of projects I have here, or you can create the new project. So let's create new project for this one. So on the top right corner, I can see the new project button. Click on that and just give it a name, MSR2. and make it visible as per your like requirement. If you want to go with public, then just select this one. But for this, I'm just keeping the private. And for advanced, no need to change anything for now because version control we are going to use Git for this demo. And then click on create. So this will create your project. Now, once the project is created, then first thing we need to create the service connection right here, Azure DevOps, right? So we are just creating service connection for the default environment, my source environment. So from where we can get this service connection option, right? So once you are creating your project and you are in the screen, then on the bottom left corner, you can see the project settings. So just click on that. And in the project settings, left navigation, you will be able to see these pipelines. And under the pipelines, we have the service connections. So just click on that service connections. And if you are using the existing project, then you might have a list of service connection available if you have created. If not, then you can just click on the create service connection. And then from here, you can just use for which we are going to create this service connection, right? As I mentioned that we are trying to establish a bridge between this Azure DevOps and Power Platform. So just search for Power Platform and click on next, right? So we are just creating a new service connection for Power Platform. So here server URL, the first text box, what should be the value for this server URL? Where we are trying to associate this. So we are setting up this service connection for Power Platform. So we have to use the server URL of your Power Platform environment, right? So in our case, my source environment is this one. So I'm just copying this URL, environment URL, and using here, and it will authenticate that. And then I have to use the tenant ID. So just copy the tenant ID from here as well. This is my tenant ID. And application ID, we also copied that. So this is my application ID 44C5. Here the value. So we have created that secret one. So I'm just using this value. Here you have to give the name for your service connection, this setup. So for this, I'm just using this default is my environment, and you can just use this MSR2. This is your project, then default environment, then service connection. And under the security, make sure you are just checking this box and granting all the permissions required for all pipelines we use for this service connection. So make sure that you check this box and click on save. So we have set up one service connection. This is for our default environment. The same process we have to do for other environments. It could be 2, 3, 4, whatever the number of environments, we have to do the same process for all the environments, right? So we'll come to that point later on. So now I'm just opening this checklist. So we have created this service connection. Now it is time to add our app into source control, right? So let's jump into project. Then for project, under this repository, you just need to initialize your main branch. So click on this initialize, and our main branch is enabled for this, right? So now again, go to your project settings, then repositories. Under this, first you have to set up the security. So I'm just clicking on security tab, and you remember we have created that user. And from here, we have to allow him, allow that user a contribute access for or allow instead of not set. So once this is done, we are good. Then click on the repository again. and then create this pipeline. So I'm just going into. So we are done with this and service connection setup, this one. So I've also created like a kind of steps where I'm displaying this, sorry, publishing this as a blog. So from there also you can just use this as is, right? So we are done with app to source control. Then, so we are here like contribute permission is given to the nine creating this pipeline. So we just need to create the pipeline. So jump into the pipeline. So just creating here pipeline and create pipeline. So this will ask you from where you want to get your code, right? So these are the different options available. So this is a kind of the latest one, but for this one, I'm going to use this classic editor. So I'm just clicking on the classic editor from the left. And then here you have this options to select your source. So for this demo, I'm going to use Azure Repos Git. As I mentioned earlier in the slide that I will going to use Azure DevOps Git repos. So I am going to use this as a source. And from there, you can just pick your project name. So you can select the relevant project, then relevant repository, and the default branch. Make sure that you have enabled this main branch, otherwise you will not be able to see this continue button enabled. So that is why I have initialized that main branch in this project, sorry, in this repository. So click on continue. And from here, we can just start with the empty job. So I'm just click on empty job. And here, if you want to change this name, you can change it, but I'm just keeping as is. And before I do any changes, I am just creating one variable. So click on the variables tab, click on add, and give it a name, solution name. Why I'm using the variable for the solution name? Because I do not want to keep anything hard coded when I am passing any command in different set of tasks, right? So that is why I'm just using this variable, and from where we can get the solution name, right? So we are doing this for our source environment, this default environment. So I'm just clicking on back button, and from this solution, go back again. And here you can see this is the list of solution, and we have created this MSR2. And make sure that you are selecting whatever the name you have in the name column, not the display one. As you know that SharePoint always understand the internal name when it is come to the query or understanding. So in display name, it may happen that your solution might have the space between two words. So just keep this thing in mind that you can just select the name from the name column. So this is the solution name. So I'm going to use that here and click on save. Right. So solution name variable is there. Now I'm clicking on the task and adding some task. Now, what we are trying to do here, we are just trying to like move our solution from development, the environment to into source control, right? So for that, first task will be our Power Platform tool installer. We have to set up an environment to like move this solution, right? So once you add this task, no need to do anything here. Nothing can be changed from here. Put as is. Now, before we jump into the other task like how to unpack the solution and everything. So if you remember in any kind of custom development, if you do with the Visual Studio, we have the capability to check with the debug, right? So how I can identify, okay, my service connection and everything is like correct. So for that, we do that test by like adding new task that is called who am I, right? So this will give you a quick connection testing to your Power Platform organization environment instance, right? So you can see the text is there as a description. So this will help us to understand, okay, my connection is setting up properly. Now here you will have two options, one for the username and password and one for the service connection. But for this demo, we'll go with the service connection because we have already created that service connections. So just click on this drop down and you will be able to see whatever the number of service connection you have created. So for this project, we have created one so far, and that is for the default environment. So just click on that, and rest of the options or the properties for the this controls, let's keep as is, and then click on save and queue and save and run. So this will help us to understand, okay, my service connection is established properly between this my Power Platform environment, and it will give whatever the output will be. If it is not succeeded, then it will give the error message. Otherwise, we can see all greens, like all the steps with the success message. So it may take some time, like couple of minutes to run this, and because it will try to set up this Power Platform installer. So every time this will take some time, like a couple of minutes for the all the process. So for next time, we will not execute this save and queue, and we just keep moving or adding other tasks as per the requirement. So meanwhile, I'll explain a few more things. So once this is done, then we will remove this who am I component from our the task, and then we need to use this Power Platform export solution. So once this is done, then what we will do, right? We will export our solution from our this default environment. So we have to use this command, this Power Platform export solution, and there we are going to use that on what will be the name of the solution, right? So click the we have to use the solution name variable which we have already created, and then we will use the output file. So output file will be our staging directory, where it's a kind of mediator where our all the package file will be available, right? So we will use that. So let's see where it is. So it is, you can see it's like 1 minute. Most probably it completes between within 2 minutes max. Yeah. So okay. So this is done, and we are all good. So you can see the success message is there. So our connection is established properly. Now again go to your pipelines, then open this, edit this pipeline, and then just remove this OMI because we do not need this now. And just click on that and now use this export solution. So now we are going to export our solution. Click on this and just set up this connection again. Select this service principal, select your service connection name, then solution name. So you remember we just use these variable. So I am just typing solution name. Instead of providing the hard coded value, I'm just getting that reference from variable. And now this is the solution output file, right? So from where you can get that. So I just copied those details because it will save my time. So this is your solution file here. I'll explain you what parameters it contains. So this is staging directory. So it's a kind of mediator for our solution output file. And this is the solution name we have used. And this is hyphen and unmanaged. So why I am using the unmanaged, right? So when we are creating any solution, we will have two options. Either you can create managed or unmanaged. So for this demo, I'm going to use unmanaged solution. So that is why I am just separating out my solution. And by using this folder, I can understand, okay, this solution is in unmanaged with unmanaged type, right? Now, what is the difference between managed and unmanaged, right? So once you have the unmanaged solution, you will be able to edit anywhere in any environment. But if it is managed, then you will not be able to edit once it is migrated or deployed to some other environment. I'm not just jumping into the more detail for that, but yeah, this is the baseline that will help you to edit anywhere, right? So we are good. Then the third, once the export is done, then we have to use this. I'm not going to run that command again. So we need to use this unpack solution. So once the export is done, then we will use the Power Platform unpack solution. So again, add the new task. Then just typing Power Platform unpack solution. So clicking on that and just copy this output file. That will be our input file for this unpack, right? So I'm just using as is. And now what is a target folder? So in target folder, you can see target folder could be anything like, but we use the unmanaged. So I have used this URL, the staging directory slash my solution name, variable name underscore zip as an input file. And I'm just using this target file where I'm creating this folder. You can see unmanaged, right? So my solution that is available in the variable solution name, and then everything will be under this unmanaged folder. All the packages or all the relevant file for this solution, MSBR, MSR2 will be available under this unmanaged folder, right? So that is why I created this unmanaged.zip and folder name is unmanaged. So using this, you can identify your solution is managed or unmanaged, right? So once this is done, then you can again, if you want to check, you can just run that command again, qn, and I do not want to check that. And then we add one more task. We have to publish it now. Publish build artifacts. This one, publish build artifacts, right? So once your package is solution is unpacked, then you can use this. So path to publish. So where you want to publish this, right? So we want to add this here. Path to publish. Instead of artifact staging directory, I want to publish into the unmanaged folder, which is created here. You can see the target folder unpacked solution. It's the same path, right? Source directory, variable name, and unmanaged, right? And then we need to add that once this is available here, then we need to add that command line command. So add again new task called command line, where we need to execute the script. Like in this script, we will mention that who is going to be the person who running this script and committing all the changes, right? So you can use this script. It is nothing much in the script, but we just keep in mind that you have to provide your email address, and this name could be anything, username could be anything, and then you can just provide the comment like Power Apps solution commit. So this is the default script which we can use. Now, uh, this task is under the agent job one, right? So I'm just clicking on the agent job one, and under this additional options, you can see one option checkbox is there, allow script to access the auth token. So if it is not checked, then once you execute this script, it will give an error. So I'm just proactively enable this checkbox and just clicking on save and queue and clicking on save and run. Now, let me jump into this repo. So I'm just going to here, right? Here you will be able to see this unmanaged folder and everything once this is done. So I'm just clicking on the pipeline in new tab, and we'll see what is the process, like what is the status. So I'm just clicking on that, and it is in progress. So you can see here all the steps which we have install the Power Platform tool, use the Power Platform tool installer, then export the solution, unpack it. So it will also take like couple of minutes to run all the steps. And once this is done, then you will be able to see that unmanaged folder will be available in our this repository. So our our solution is available in source control now. Once this all the we can see all the greens for all the tasks. Otherwise, if we have any error, then it will stop the execution from here, and we have to rectify those error, whatever the errors we are getting. So yeah, it will take couple of minutes to execute all the steps. But if you want to check like how the process and what are the internal things done for this command, for example, Power Platform export solution. So you can see these are the steps there where it can just connect with our service connection, then this organization URL ID, URL. So everything you can find as execution log if you want to check. So yeah, and then make sure that you are using the correct URLs. Otherwise, it will give an error from here if it is not connected properly. But for this one, we have already checked with who am I, because we just wanted to make sure that it should set up a proper connection between our service connection, this Power Platform, as well as the Azure DevOps. Yeah, so still taking time. So maybe in 2 minutes and 10 seconds or 15 seconds, it will be done. And then you will be able to see everything here. Okay. So meanwhile, what we can do, we are just uh, yet to complete that task for the trial version. So I'm just moving into the trial version where we can create these users and everything, right? So meanwhile, this process runs, right? I'm just jumping into my trial environment. So, sorry, in Power Platform Admin Center, then clicking on the environments. So I'm doing the same steps what we have done for the default environment by creating that application user. So from the environments property, you can just copy your destination environment URL. So I'm just using this and copy here. So I have already copied that just to save the time. And then from the access box in the right side, you can just click on see all for the users and click on app users list, application user, and we are going to add a user for trial environment, right? So click on new app user, select your app. So in case, our case, it is MSR2. So this is our enterprise application one. Click on add, select your business unit, and click on this service connection where we are providing this system administrator access. Click on save, create. Right, we are done with this user creation for trial version, so trial environment. So this is all done. Now we have to set up the service connection. So for this PPT, just to check, so we have created this application user for environment 2. Now we are going to create service connection for our second environment, right? So same step you have to follow. So go to your, let's see, okay, so all good. Let's refresh this and see what it comes with. Yes, so you can see our solution name, the folder name, and under that we have the unmanaged folder, and everything will be available under this unmanaged folder, all the packages files, right? So our pipeline runs with all success. So we are good. And then again, we have to create the service connection for the trial environment. So I'm just clicking on this project, and from the left bottom, click on project settings, then click on service connection from the pipelines and create new service connection. And here we have to create for our platform. Click on this, then service server URL. So server URL here we have to use this the file environment URL. We just copied that, Control V, and then tenant ID. So tenant ID we already have copied that here. ID. So this is our application ID. Same process, or if you want to do this when you are setting up for uh, the first environment, you can also perform the same task along with that. So I'm just giving name MSR2. This is my trial version, trial 1, and service connection, and just using this security grant access permission. Clicking on save, we are good. So we have set up this service connection for this one. Right now we have to move that the code which we have in the source control to this release, right? So we have set up this connection, like everything is done. Azure DevOps project setting, that is done. Power Platform connection, we have set up this. Now we are moving to the last step where we have to create the release, right? So we can create new release. So just jump into your Azure DevOps. This under these pipelines, click on releases, create new pipeline. Then we'll start with empty job. So just click on empty job. And here you want to change, if you want to change the name, you can change, like I want to use this as a, let's keep it as is. And here I'm just changing to one. And here artifacts, we have to select which is the source. So here you can see the source type by default, it is build. So the question should come in mind, why, when to use this build, right? So if you are talking about the continuous integration and continuous deployment, then you can go with this option. But for this demo, we are going to use this Azure DevOps, as we are not going to use CI/CD. We are just doing this process one time. So just click on Azure repos, then select your project. So MSR2, our project name, and the source repository, the same one, and this branch main and rest of the setting as is, right? And click on add. So we have added our artifacts, the source artifacts. Now click on the jobs. What are the different jobs we are going to add? But before that, let's create one variable called solution name and use the same value MSR2. So that is our solution name MSR2. So I'm just keeping as is and click on save. So we have created one variable. Now I'm just going into this task. Now here we have to add a different set of tasks. It's a purely opposite of whatever we have done for the environment one, the default environment. So if you see that first, the basic one is that required the Power Platform installer. So I'm just clicking on this Power Platform tool installer. So this is prerequisites. So that's the first step. And after that, in the previous step, what we have done, like we have unpacked the solution, right? But now here we have to pack the solution. So just click on that and add a new task called pack solution. And here, where you are going to pack the solution, right? So solution folder name will be, just click on these three dots, and our folder name is this and unmanaged, right? So everything is available in under this unmanaged folder. So I'm just selecting unmanaged and clicking OK. Now here you can see the MSR2 is hard coded. So just change with your whatever the variable name we have used. So here we have used solution name. So I'm just replacing that value. And this is my folder, right? Where I want to pack it. So let's confirm this solution name. Okay, so we have done that. And here I have just used the correct one. Then it will look like this. So we are done with this solution name unmanaged. Okay, and then for the solution output file, we just use this So for the solution output file, we are using this. So it will be again available in the staging directory. It's an intermediate thing. And from here, you can see the type solution because we are doing this for the unmanaged one. So just select unmanaged from this drop down. And if you are doing this for the managed, then you can select this one or both. Like, so make sure that what option you are selecting here. And rest of the settings keep as is. And then once we have this spec solution, then we have to import it. So use this as a next task. Click on that, import next. Again, select service connection. Then here you will be able to see two service connection, right? Because we have just created for the trial one. So we are doing this import for trial. So just click on this trial one. And what is your input file, right? So input file will be the same one. You can copy from here. This one, zip folder. We are just copying from the staging, or you can just copy from here as well. So this is the same one, staging directory. So this is our input file. And here under the advanced, just make sure that you are just selecting this overwrite unmanaged customizations, then skip product update dependency. So we do not want to use that, right? So import is also done. And then we have the name like we are going to use this publish for all the customized thing. So add one more task and select this. So this will publish all the customizations in new environment. So again, just select your service connection. So for this one, trial one. And we do not have to worry about other settings. So we are done with that. And yeah, we are all set. Now we are just clicking on save. So we are just creating this release, first release, and click on create release and create it. Now, if you go to this trial environment solutions, then you will not be able to see MSR2 for now, right? And now once this release is done, the release one, you will be able to see that the solution MSR2 will be deployed to this trial one environment. So let's see. It will also take like couple of minutes to run all the steps. So it is in progress. Let's click on that. Because again, it is trying to install that Power Platform tool installer, then execute the rest of the commands like packing the solution and importing the solution. So yeah, every time it may take like couple of minutes to execute any pipeline or this release. So once all the steps are done with the green, means succeeded, then and then we will be able to see that solution deployed into the destination environment, or in this case, the environment name is trial one. And then from there, you can just edit the app because we have used unmanaged solution. If it is selected as a managed, then you will not be able to edit that app, right? And yeah, so this one, older one. Yeah, you can also check the time like 59 seconds, 1 minute. On top right corner here we can see the total time it is taking for all the steps. So yeah, it is importing the solution and package solution is done. Yeah, I think it should be there now. Just click on refresh. It's not there. Just check. Or you can also check the logs from here where it is. Yeah, it is still pending here. Zoning 30 seconds, 32. The total, I think, 2 minutes and 10-15 seconds. All the steps will be done, or on average. Yeah, but you have to keep yourself easy for these 2 minutes. Like, yeah, we don't have anything to check here. Yeah, but once this is done, then we are good with everything. Like we perform all the steps required for deployment process. So this will help you to for like consider as a checklist. So you will not miss any task or any step when you are using two environments. But yeah, in the same way you can use 3 or 4 environments, but keep in mind that you have to follow all the steps for all the environments, like creating the application users, then permissions, and then creating this service connections. So make sure that you are not forgetting anything for any environment. Otherwise it will fail when you are setting up the service connection or establish the bridge between your power apps or the source control and the destination environment. Yes, so we can see all agreements here. So let's now see this here, and I'm just refreshing this. Without refresh, I can see the MSR2, right? So this solution is available in environment trial 1. Now I'm just opening this. I'm not running this because it will give me an error. If I'm running this app, it will give me an error that this app is not shared with you. So I'm just clicking on play because I have not added any user so far. So I might get that error. See, this application is not opening correctly because I don't have access so far, right? So I have to share this with whosoever user is looking out for. But yes, of course, I can edit the app. Click on edit, and you will be able to see whatever the content we have in this solution, the default solution where we created this app. So I'm just opening this in my default environment, and we can just compare. We can see as is. So here you can see, click welcome to the Microsoft Reactor Group Bengaluru. This is for trial 1 environment, and you can see the same thing we created in this default environment. So it will be available as is without any change or with all the components available in this solution, right? So if I click on go back, then I will be able to see that in the solution we have only app so far. Here we can see only one app. We don't have any cloud flows or chatbots, but whatever the component we have in the source environment, everything will be moved as is. So this is how this whole process works. And yeah, you can deploy solution from one environment to another environment. So I think this is all about this demo. And let's run the last slide. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for having me and providing your time just to understand this process. And if you want to get in touch with me again, so you can see this social media handler information available on the screen, and yeah, you can connect from there. And I am okay to get any questions or address questions if any.
Yeah, Kirti, there are few questions in the chat section.
Yeah. Is system admin the minimum that's required, or can we use a lesser? No, system admin is required because you need to perform this establishment of the bridge between this enterprise applications and your this power platform connections. And can these steps also applicable for Power Automate desktop apps? That I need to check because I have not tried with the Power Automate desktop app. But yeah, I can check on that, and maybe in next session I can pick this up how to use the Power Automate desktop app. Yeah, but it could be similar, but not the same one. But yeah, we can use the concept, but I need to again check on this how we can leverage this with the Power Automate desktop. And share the app with AD groups or individual users. Can we use DevOps to share the apps with AD groups or individuals? No, I think you have to share the app from this Power Platform environment only, right? From let me show you that. Let's say, for example, if I want to share this solution, this one, right? So if you select that, then you will have an option. This select it, and you can see this share option. Click on that, and from here it will like get all the lists from your users. So let's say, for example, I want to share with this user, then you can use that as a user or as a co-owner. But yeah, from here you can share only, not from the Azure AD. Azure AD we are just using to setting up that enterprise application. That's it. Command line script is failed. It's getting error as fatal, unable to access the request URL return. So I can show you that what I have used for that command line script. So I have used this. You can just try this and see if that works for you. I have used that in share in the chat window, so you can just try with that and see if that works for you. Uh, yeah, command line is basically used to like commit your changes or commit the solution, as we have used that commit command in that script. And every time when run the pipeline, is it required to install the Power Platform tool? No, we are setting up this for one time only for all the pipelines. Let's say, for example, if you are doing this for the environment one, then you have to use that as a first task, because this will set up the prerequisites. Like if you are working in working for SharePoint framework, then we have to set up this NuGet package and everything. So that's the same thing Power Platform tool installer doing for uh, this setup. So yeah, we have to use for each pipeline, but only once. No need to use a number of times. Can we have the recording will be available, and system admin the minimum. Yeah, system admin is required. You can share this. Can these steps also applicable? That is done. Yeah, I'm not sure about how we can do from the DevOps, but yeah, I'll explore that part because I'm still updating few things within this uh, the same Azure DevOps deployment process. So maybe I can check this later on and using that while I'm doing for the CI/CD. Yeah, but yeah, if you are saying that, I need to double check on that. Does Power App support AD groups? Does it also support state AD groups? I think AD group is not available in this environment. Let's see. Uh, if I go here and I have the groups, maybe for example, let me check what are the different groups available here. So for example, CGE Dev. So that's my group. And if I'm just trying to use CGE, So you cannot see that, right? Because we don't have the email address for this, but we have the email address. Yeah, but this is my Azure AD group, but not able to get that when I'm trying to share this from here, right? So we can share only for the users, not for the groups. Yeah, so you can see this. This is the blog URL where I'm sharing this everything. So I'll update that because that is why I have updated these tabs. I'm just planning to write in a blog, and you can find from here. You can just subscribe for this one, and this is my personal website uh, where I'm working as an independent consultant. So you can also look into the different services I am providing, and this will be helpful for you to understand what knowledge I'm sharing on my blog. Yeah.
So any more questions? So Kirti, we are good to wrap up.
Okay.
A final call for the questions. Any more questions, guys? Before we end, I would like to share you. I'm sharing in the chat section. I'm sharing the links. The first link is the LinkedIn group link of the Microsoft Reactor on the LinkedIn page. The second one is our today's speaker Kirti Prajapati's LinkedIn link. The third one is the Reactor Bangalore's YouTube link. So sorry, it's a meetup page link. Sorry for that. And the fourth one is the YouTube channel link. And the fifth one is today's Learn Model link, where you can have your further learning. So let's call for the wrap up, Kirti, then.
Yep, sure. Yep.
Thank you, Kirti, for the session. And thank you all for joining us today. Please do share your feedback about today's session. Also, feel free to use the Learn module link that I have shared. It might give you the access additional resources for the learning further. Also, please visit our Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming sessions. Thank you all. Thank you once again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks. Bye bye.